All right. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, Royals. I hope everyone is having a blessed and last Wednesday of the first month of the new year. Yes, I said a mouthful, but that was intentional. You see, huh, I'm hosting my first virtual educational forum owned and copywritten by my own Black-owned business. Yay. Yeah, if I wasn't connected to this microphone, I would definitely do a praise dance right now. So we are about to get started right now. So if everyone can please mute your phones or your Zoom, your audio, that will greatly appreciate that for me, please. Thank you. All right. Hello. Hello. My name is Rokia, yet many of you know me as Miss Queen Row. But hey, now I am Miss Queen Row, founder and CEO of Royal Consulting LLC. My brand journey began in 2017, writing articles from my life and career blog while providing freelance business coaching and working full time in corporate America. Yet God had another plan for me. When my company of 17 years had a reduction in force, hence leading to the commencement of my career in business consulting company. So, a little bit more about me. I do have a bachelor's of arts in communication, master's of business and public administration. I have 17 years of project and people leadership and entrepreneurship experience. I know I look younger than what I am. Additionally, my consulting experience extends into diversity and inclusion advocacy, along with coaching to employee engagement and consulting employee resource groups. When I'm not working hard to grow my company, I am engaging in my legacy, my 8-year-old princess, Reagan, and my fur baby, Shuri Olivia. Yeah, she has two names. Whether you are a corporate professional listening to gain professional tips or a startup entrepreneur awaiting advice on how to grow your business, my purpose for you today is to provide a virtual educational platform for everyone to engage, connect, and gain professional and personal advisement. We want nothing more but to cultivate royalty into your profession. So, with that being said, we are now going to move into our agenda. All right, so we are going to have Royal Consulting introduction first. We're going to set the stage a little bit. I definitely can't go on without thanking my Royal ambassadors, introduce my panelists. We're going to start the panel discussion. We want to save most of the time for that. We're going to have a survey. So if you guys please can stay to the end, I greatly appreciate it because we would love to hear your feedback. And then we're going to close. So without further ado, I want to introduce my business just a little bit for me. All right. So by the way, if you are not on your phone, can you do me a favor? Can you please actually hover your phone over this QR code? Because there you can join my real community. I promise you're gonna love it. You're gonna have fun. All right. So if you can do that for me, that would be excellent. But a little bit about Royal Consulting. I am the owner of a business and corporate career consulting company. I do everything from provide business startup assistance to corporate career development. So maybe you don't feel like you're at your full-time job. You feel like you're not getting the corporate development that you need from your manager anywhere else. I can be an accountability coach. I can be your mentor. But we go through a strategic plan on how we can get you to that promotion or what you need to move up in your career. That's from the corporate side. If you are a business owner, I can help you with that as well. If you need assistance in starting up your LLC or moving into a nonprofit, I can help you with all that. We put out a plan, a workflow just to get it going for you. For more information, please visit my website, royalcareerconsulting.com. It gives an in-depth detail on how we can get started and more about the services that I offer. Also, it does, if you cannot hover over the QR code, you can also go there and sign up to be a part of the Royal community there as well. And also, if you know you want to get started, you can actually sign up to get a free, yes, I did, I said free consultation there on the website as well. A couple of services that I offer: brand enhancement, right? We want to make sure that we level up your personal and professional brand. So for instance, I hope most of you know that a lot of job seekers or recruiters, people that are looking to hire, actually, they look at your social media accounts. And if you didn't know that, then sometimes if your page is not private, well, we want to make sure we put some level up, some boosting into it, right? So with that, I can help with making it not only beautiful again, but we can put it to where we represent your brand. So that's from the personal side. Professionally, if you have a resume that you would like to have redone, I can help you with that as well. Just anything with LinkedIn, because right now LinkedIn is underutilized, and we want to make sure that we get that utilized, right? Because that's ultimately optimizing your search to get looked at by recruiters. And then lastly, I have come to terms that I'm actually pretty good on social media. So I will help you also with social media marketing. So again, if you want to boost up that social media platform, I can help you with that as well. So if you have not, please connect with me either on LinkedIn at Royal Career Consulting Royal Consulting, or Instagram. Please connect me with Royal Career Consulting. So you can look me up. There'll be times at the end of the presentation so you can see that as well. All right, so moving on, we would like to set the stage. Okay, while we want to have fun in this environment, in this platform today, we definitely want to make sure that it stays professional. So we want to make sure that we respect all views. All views deserve to be heard. Even if you don't agree, we want to agree to disagree, right? So please don't pass judgment, even in chat. Let's assume positive intent. Give everyone the benefit of the doubt. We just want to make sure that everyone is heard, and just assume they're trying to do better. I mean, that they assuming positive intent, excuse me. And then engage and participate. Chat in your questions, your opinions. Feel free to use emojis. Just professionally participate, right? Let's keep this environment, this event hype. So please chat in. I have role ambassadors and everyone waiting to comment and give their professional opinion. All right, so speaking of royal ambassadors, yes, I would like to give kudos to Dan, Kat, Vincent. Without the help of these three, I would not have been able to set foot on this stage today. So I want to say thank you so much for them helping. They are my technology folks. They are my chatty folks. They are the folks that help me with, the presentation, everything. So I want to say thank you so much for being my royal ambassador. You have definitely deserved the title for that. All right, so we want to get right into it. We are now at the meat of our presentation. So again, everyone, if you can please make sure your phones are muted, I would greatly appreciate it for me. Just check your audio to make sure you are on mute. Let me introduce our royal panelists for today. Firstly, we have Jasmine Hathaway. Jasmine is the founder and CEO of Compass Coordinators. After almost 15 years in marketing and leadership roles for nonprofits, small businesses, and a Fortune 100 company, she decided to follow her dream by starting her own business in 2020. Inspired by her own experience after losing her husband to cancer, Jasmine started Compass Coordinators to help people organize, prioritize, and complete their tasks and paperwork that come along with the loss of a loved one or a difficult divorce. So everyone, after this session, please visit compasscoordinators.com to learn more. And then she will go a little bit more in depth in what she does and what she provides as well. If you're not already, please follow her on Instagram at Compass Coordinators. She would greatly appreciate it. Secondly, we have Devin Carter. Devin is the co-founder of Home Food LLC, the parent company of Blanket, Pancakes, and Syrup. Guys, let me tell you. Yeah, love his product, love their product. I've been a fan for a little bit while now. So Devin founded Blanket in the late 2017, along with his wife, Marquita Carter. Under the Blanket product line, Some Food offers all natural complete pancake mixes and a variety of flavored syrups. As part of the company's vision, none of their products contain any artificial preservatives, flavors, or high fructose corn syrup. Their motto: we believe that food should taste good naturally, and it's our goal to provide families with healthier alternatives to highly processed quick meals and fast food. All of our products were designed to be quick and easy to make with the perfect blend of taste and time. Devin has a bachelor's in political science and a master's in business administration. Please visit their company website also to order products, blanketps.com, and follow them on Instagram as well at Blanket Pancakes and Syrup. Lastly, we have this darling, Yvette Bailey. Yvette is a licensed clinical social worker from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So PA in the house. She worked in field of social work for over 15 years in management, consulting, and as a mental health clinician. Yvette holds a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master of Social Work. Yvette is ready to embark on her own business venture called Empowered Visionaries. Her mission is to empower her clients with motivational speaking, coaching, and consulting. Please follow Yvette on Instagram at VB Visionary Group, where she displays her passion of teaching people how to tap into their inner visionary by creating vision boards, affirmation, and the gift of manifestation. All right, everyone. Now, I gave a little bit on your introduction, but I would like to hear from you. Let's tell the audience. Can you please go into a little bit more detail on why and how you left corporate America? Jasmine, let's start with you.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Rokia, thank you for having me. So Rokia mentioned that she was in her last job for 17 years. But in my career, I jumped around a lot. So I would stay at a company for a couple of years and then look for something else. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this, but every time I started a new job, I was like, yes, this is going to be great. I was so excited. But then pretty soon I'd start to think, I can do more. I can do better. I had a deeply life-changing event, which Rokia mentioned as well. In 2015, my husband passed away from cancer. I was working full-time. I was parenting a toddler, and I found myself spending what little free time I had calling banks, calling insurance companies, contacting government offices, you name it. I was filling out paperwork. I was trying to figure out how to get into my husband's tablet. I didn't have his password. And how come no one ever told me that I had to be responsible for his Facebook page when he passed away? I mean, it was just overwhelming. And I just remember thinking, surely there is someone else who can do this for me. I had professionals helping me when I got married. I had them around when I had my kid. But where are the service providers when you're going through something really difficult? So filling that gap in services provided when people are going through those difficult life events is something I feel called to do. And that's why I started Compass Coordinators last year. We help people organize, prioritize, and complete the tasks that are on their plate during this difficult time so they have space to heal. And with that, it's my great pleasure to introduce the next panelist, Devin Carter. Devin?
Hey, thanks, Jasmine. Hello, everyone. I am Devin Carter, co-founder of Blanket Pancakes and Syrup. Our parent company is Home Food LLC, which I'm also founder and managing partner in that as well, along with my beautiful wife, Miss Marquita Carter. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us today, but she's I think she's actually on the Zoom. If not, she'll be here soon, she says. So a little bit about me. So we started Blanket in 2017. At the time, it was right around when we had our second child. My wife dealt with preeclampsia, hypertension during pregnancy, which caused us to look at changing our diet. We're a big foodie family, so we love cooking. Her mom's a chef for a large hotel chain. My mother was a caterer. So cooking has always been, something that's kind of brought us together, keeps us together. But we saw that there needs to be a change in our diet. Looking for products that could offer us the taste we were accustomed to, but offer a better nutritional panel. We couldn't find that out in the marketplace. So Marquita began to experiment with her own recipes. From there, we settled on our first, our love, which is breakfast, and pancakes being our favorite meal. We decided to start playing with our own syrups. It took a couple of years to really get that recipe down, but when we finally got something, it was just like magic. We gave it to our family and friends. Everyone seemed to really enjoy it. And it was kind of our aha moment, instead of my wife returning from maternity leave, we said, you know what, let's do this. Let's make this a business and let's go forward with it. We've talked about it for years. So we decided I would keep my corporate job. She was an educator at the time. She went full-time in the business while I worked. I was also a grad school student at the time. So it was tough at first getting the business started. It took a couple of years before we started to really gain traction. And finally got to the point where we could work. I worked myself out of a job. So while this has been quite a journey for us, it's been an extreme blessing for us to own our own business, be able to say that we've done it ourselves. We haven't taken any outside capital. And we've been able to maintain the integrity of our brand, of making sure it's true to who we are, an all natural brand, which prides ourselves on offering our community more more nutritious products than what you typically find out in the marketplace. So we're looking to expand online very soon, and actually have a discount code. So for all of you who joined the Zoom today, we have a code. I think it's Royal20. Marquita, help me out if you're in the chat. But I believe the coupon code is Royal20 for 20% off your orders on blanketps.com. So throw some questions my way when you're ready. That's all I got for you right now. Yvette, do you have anything? Do you want to do your introduction?
Yvette, I think you're on mute.
My apologies. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me now. I'm Yvette. And wow, I just want to give kudos to the panelists that came before me. Why did I leave corporate America? The question I ask myself is, why didn't I leave earlier? Like many of the panelists, I worked in jobs and along my career track. When I had that inner voice inside of me that said, this is great, everything's lining up, you are feeling your purpose, but it's not quite it. This isn't it. So all along, I knew I wanted to start my own business. I'm here to help people, inspire people, you know, through life circumstances that happen, whether we want them or not. And my last job, a year and a half ago, it happened to me. I had a life circumstance, an accident that completely changed my life. I am a traumatic brain injury survivor. So I'm still dealing with a lot of limitations that I didn't experience before from a fall. And so during this time of recovery, which I'm still in the healing phases of my injury, I left my position through no fault of my own, but I got to have a little sense of humor about it because I'm very stubborn and hard-headed sometimes. And I think God finally said, you know what, I'm going to get your attention. And out of that fall, actually hitting my head, he probably knocked some sense into me and said that, yes, you have your abilities, you have your gift, but you're not utilizing them the right way. And so therefore, during this time through my recovery, I said, you know what, I can just lay here and ask, why me? You know, I was at a position that I manifested. I'm a big advocate and firm believer of vision boards, as you can see behind me. So whenever I go forward with a goal in mind, I'm writing it down and I'm making vision boards. So actually my last position was a job that I manifested. Everything was in place. However, every day at work, I kind of sat there like, this isn't quite it. So now I'm at the place right now that I'm still in recovery, seeing my specialist to help with some limitations, but I'm not going to allow my limitation from keeping me from what I want. And so I'm in the preliminary phases of Empowered Visionaries. And through that, I'm here to help motivate people. Again, you know, having a background as a therapist, yes, I can sit on the other side of the desk and say, hey, you're in crises, you don't see your potential, but let me help navigate you through that. But during my own crises, I had to learn to navigate myself. So I'm not just walking the walk, you know, I'm preaching, I'm walking, and I'm talking. So again, I want to help motivate people, coach people, and also do some consulting. So I'm glad I connected with Rokia because I believe she is the person that can help me, you know, more or less manifest this dream of entrepreneurship. And I look forward to seeing my website, seeing everything coming to fruition. And, you know, I just want to thank you all again.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for the introductions. All right, so we are going to get into the nitty gritty of actually asking questions. So again, I'm seeing chats come through, so thank you so much. Now, feel free, Royals, if you guys have your own questions, go ahead and chat them in. And we have a role ambassador waiting to shout them out. Okay, so don't hold back. This is your time to shine. All right. So first question, anybody can answer. Doesn't matter. How do you, well, let me preface it a little bit. We all know while we would love to just leave corporate America cold turkey and just do it, right? That doesn't happen. Most of us have to be able to work full time while growing our business. And sometimes that can get a little hectic. And finding a balance can be very hard, especially those of us who actually have kids at home. So, anyone can start this out. So, if you can answer this question for me, how do you balance working in corporate America and running your own business?
All right, I think I can take that one. So for me, because I've been on that side where I was working the business working the business part time while working full time in corporate America. You know, my last company that I was with for 10 years, and you know, I was grateful to say that I had progressive responsibilities. I was able to move around a bit. Um, as I mentioned before, I was also going through school. So while I was at that company, I got 3 degrees there. It's tough. It is extremely tough. The biggest thing I would say to that is time management. So when we were in the thick of things, I would have to focus on studying during the weekend. I made sure that I did my 9 to 5, you know, gave the time to my company that, you know, they deserve, they paid me for. But really, when it came to before and after, you know, I had to decide what, you know, how much time I had an opportunity to spend with my family. So the morning, I purposed to get my kids ready for school in the morning. I took that burden off my wife to make sure that she had the, you know, the headspace to focus on what she needed to do as well. So before I would go to work, I would make sure that I had breakfast ready, you know, get the little ones dressed and ready to go to school when school was a thing. Um, and after I got home from work, you know, it was a locked in of 2 hours minimum that I gave her a break with the kids. And I, you know, I was a father for them because I didn't want to be a absentee parent in the household. Um, you know, when I was a child, my father worked crazy hours. So I only saw him really on the weekends because he was working 12-hour shifts. He was an electrician for the railroad. And, you know, all I had was a mother in the household. Um, I didn't want to be that type of parent. So that may have limited my earning potential early on because the way we chose to raise our family was we wanted both parents to be present. And regardless of, you know, us trying to, you know, build our brand and build this business. And I regret nothing with that. You know, we have a great relationship. Our kids understand when it's work time. You know, you got to leave mommy and daddy alone. They respect that. You know, when I'm in my home office, we've got to the point where they don't just bust down the door anymore. They knock now. So that's a great thing. And especially my oldest, who's 8, you know, he talks about understanding. We've tried to culture him to understanding there's a vision, there's a purpose behind everything we do. So when he says you're working, you know, he says, Daddy's working on his purpose right now. Daddy's working on, you know, building the business. We got to leave him alone, Nathan. When the youngest wants to, you know, just run in and ask me whatever. And that helps tremendously because they get it. And most importantly, they get to see us now working and they understand why we work as hard as we do. So that's building in that work ethic for them early. But I would, again, just wrap that up by saying time management is important and being consistent and, you know, being very transparent with your time so that your family understands what you're doing, what you're going through, and you get the full buy-in and support of them as well.
You're going to have to teach me your tricks on how you've taught your kids how to leave you alone.
Me too.
I'm making it sound a lot easier than what it was.
It's just a daily struggle, you know, and some days are better than others. But, you know, it's my daughter's 6, so it could be that she's just young too and needs more time to understand. But juggling a full-time job and trying to pursue your dream on the side, I mean, it's no one's ever said that it's easy, right? I mean, it's really just dedicating the time according to your priorities and what you really want to be doing. So, you know, for me, I just kept that purpose, that vision top of mind and said, okay, you know, I'm going to do a little bit at a time when I feel like, you know, the time is right, when I feel like I can get this done and just celebrate the little milestones along the way.
Yeah. Okay. I see some questions coming through the chat, but Yvette, I'm going to ask the same question, but I'm going to spin it a little bit for you.
Mm-hmm.
What was like the first step in you building your brand? Like what made you like take it from vision board parties to, I'm actually going to make this a business?
Well, I always knew, again, having a background of being a social worker and a therapist, you know, I want to empower people. Again, I've been on the other side of the fence. Life happens, circumstances happen that are beyond our control. And so I feel like sometimes I know everyone has a story to tell and through our own life experiences, but sometimes we just get so stuck that we feel like we don't have options. And I'm that person that people typically come to for advice. I always say I'm giving free therapy, free advice, which I feel is a gift that people will actually consider coming to me to have an opinion about some things in their life they're stuck in. And it's not that they don't have the answers within themselves, it's just that you're stuck. And sometimes we feel like we lack options. So, how I figured to finally turn this into a business is that I realized what I've been doing for others, I can do for myself. And so at this point, even though I'm still going through my own medical recoveries and having my limitations, you know, why not have my business where I can cater it towards, again, my passion and my purpose, but also towards my limitations that I'm not going to call limitations. It's just my new normal. I have to now look at obstacles that I didn't have before and figure out how I can succeed.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. I heard time management. I heard balance, find your sanity because we have little kids at home. You just got to find a balance. And then I also heard if you have a purpose, you have a story to tell, and you want everyone else to hear it. Love it. Thank you. We have a few questions that come in through the chat. Role Ambassador Kat, can you shout them out for me?
Hi, everyone. So one of the questions is, how'd you find your passion? And how'd you know like it was the right thing for you? So yes, life circumstance happened for each one of you, but how did you know that it was a passion of yours once you started within the role?
Yvette, can you take that for us?
Well, I guess for me, I ran from my passion for years and it just kept showing up, you know, even kind of heading towards and following the social work path. Um, I have my mentor, my aunt, I always looked up to when it was time to go to graduate school. I was like, you know what, I really want to go to law school. And she said, why don't you get your MSW, your degree in social work, because you'll always have options. You'll always have a career, you know, with a lot of options. So even in the field of social work, I always ended up working in different settings and helping clients that I'm like, you know, I really don't want to do this, you know, but understanding that I was called to do it, you know, I had to accept my purpose, which is helping people during their difficult times and also being a healer. And I ran for that from years. And so now I'm at the point that I'm not only accepting, but embracing, because I believe that we all need help, regardless of what we're going through. You know, we have to have the ability to ask for and seek help. And, you know, it's an honor for me to be able to be there in assistance for people who are needing help at that time.
Perfect. Jasmine, what about you? How did you find this passion? I know part of your story, it kind of fell on your lap, right? When you actually became a widow.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question because I feel like it took me a long time. It took me a long time to kind of come to terms with this being the thing that I really wanted to do, you know. And one of the tests that I gave myself when I was kind of trying to figure out, like, okay, well, I know I don't like doing X, Y, and Z, but what do I like doing is I would just ask myself, is this something that I feel like I could talk about forever? Is this something that I feel, you know, like no matter what happens with the business, you know, I'm going to have to be talking about it all the time, right? Like it's your job as a founder to kind of explain it, advocate, you know, kind of market your business. So is this something that you feel so strongly about that you'll never get sick of talking about what you do? And there are a lot of things that failed that test. And then I found the thing that, you know, passed. And I really felt like this was a unique perspective that I brought to, you know, this field, this time in people's lives. And that's how I knew that this was something that was really worth pursuing.
Perfect. Devin, did you have some lasting words?
Yeah, I would add to that. So I love Jasmine and Yvette's answers to the question, because it really does speak truth. For me, I think it was very practical in a sense as well. So while I do have a passion for food, the passion with the food and creativity is really on my wife's side. I have a passion more for the practical business side. You know, I can't feed my family with passion. So I would say there a lot of preparation went into us starting our company and, you know, growing it to the level of success we have today. You know, one was preparing myself, you know, gaining the business acumen needed to run a business and run a business successfully. You know, I'm grateful to have a partner and my wife, because I know my role and I know my strengths, and I'm able to live out my strengths in the business, where I can focus on making sure that all the processes are in place, the foundation is there, you know, from a financial, from a logistics, from an operational side, you know, we can run the business very successfully. But really, my passion comes through all of that in terms of that preparation, because I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur, but now I can add my excellence into something that, you know, it's very true and dear to my heart, and which is, one, the nutrition aspect of making sure that, you know, we're conscious and mindful of what we're putting in our bodies, and creating better products for our community. So, you know, when it came to, okay, what food product we want to do, if we want to do this business, where are we going to start? You know, and I looked in the marketplace and I saw where we could add to that with our unique value proposition. You know, I looked at, you know, who are the players in the market, and where can we differentiate ourselves? How are we going to do it? What's the name of our company going to be? We were very intentional with the name, with the ingredients, with the flavors we listed out, with the business partners we have. And I think that for me, my passion was really fueled by my desire to be excellent in everything that I do. So that allowed me to really focus on that part of the business. When my wife, let me tell you something, she is the most creative woman I know. There's nothing she can't do. I see her wake up 5 a.m. and work to wee hours a night creating new recipes, and everything tastes delicious. And she's able to live out that passion. But because my passion met hers and our passion met our purpose, it allows us to be successful at that.
Perfect. A little bit of a spin on this question, because sometimes our passion can turn into, like, we can start off as a hobby, right? A lot of us, we had hobbies that we started out with, but when is like that first notion, that first step that we took that hobby from actually becoming into a business? Yeah, you can do it, Devin. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. So, because I think you and I actually had a bit of a conversation about this.
We did. I remember.
So, you know, and this is funny to me because I get so, like, this right here is really what drives me, because I've met so many people who talk about, oh, I'm a hustler. I know how to, make $1, turn a 15 cents to $1, whatever. That sounds great, but we had to take the time and say, okay, does this actually work on paper? So, I come from a data analytics background. I create a business model to say, okay, at what threshold can I say this business is viable? It can stand on its own. And at what point do we need to say, okay, either we need to pivot and do something a little different, or is this or is this something we need to kind of shift and say, look, this ain't gonna work. So we started off with doing market research. For the first year of the business, we really didn't focus on selling. We focused on perfecting our craft, making sure we understood the industry, making sure we knew what ingredients to use. We know we wanted to do something different, so we found out what that secret sauce was. We started off in what is it called? Farmers markets. So we did like farmers markets, pop-up shops. We tried to gauge people's response to different recipes. I think we started off originally with maybe one or two different syrups, and then we launched a third. And then we launched the pancake mix, and we kind of put feelers out there. Then we did the vegan. Now we got 2-3 other products coming out this year. So really for me, the point was actually making sure you have a business. There was an entrepreneur who once told us, if you can't find 100 people who want to buy your product, then you don't have a business. So I needed to, and I took that to heart. I had to say, okay, can we get our first 100 customers? Can we get our first 1,000 customers? Can we get 10,000 customers? And then to that point, I was like, all right, now how many stores can we get interested in our products? What do we need to do to make our products shelf ready? How can we increase the shelf life? Can we maintain the integrity of saying we're going to be an all-natural company, to match the shelf life of some of these other products on the shelves that are, contain a bunch of preservatives? And that in itself was a journey. So we took a very patient approach to starting our business because we wanted to make sure, like I said, not only were we doing it in excellence, but, do we have something that, going to have longevity here? Or is this just, a hobby for us?
Right.
Once we proved that out, we decided to invest more and really go forth with the business full force.
Perfect. All right. We do have a lot of questions in the chat. I want to make sure we keep it moving. So we're going to change subject a little bit first here. Kat, can you read us another question for us?
Yeah. So I'm going to pass this over to Jasmine. And I think, Rokia, you actually would also be a good person to answer this. What are some of the getting started steps for entrepreneurship? So what do you need to do to, I think, one, start looking into entrepreneurship and owning that business aspect? And then the second part is, how do you start actually making a business, filing for it, all your tax papers, et cetera?
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to take this one. I'm sure anyone could really speak to some of the early steps though. But for me, I mean, once I had the idea, I did kind of shop it around. I mean, I wouldn't call what I was doing market testing. I mean, Devin was describing the process to really develop a product where people could test and give feedback and things like that. In a service business, you kind of need to talk to people who maybe have had similar experiences, possible customers, and kind of gauge, like, is this something you would have used, or could you see yourself recommending this kind of service to people that you know, or what would you need in this kind of circumstance? Tell me a little bit more about whether what I'm thinking is what you would actually pay for. So, I mean, it was a lot of like tweaking and testing, and honestly, just kind of like giving it my best shot, using that marketing background, using the experience that I've had in the consulting world to kind of develop a package that I felt comfortable with, and then, attaching a value to that for the service that I'd be providing. But I did a lot of just talking about my idea and getting a lot of feedback from mentors and other advisors before I put pen to paper and started figuring out some of the things that Devin was just talking about. What would it need to, what would it take to make this an actual legitimate business? And, what does that look like? Start building the business plan. And then once I had a really good idea and a name, which is harder than you might think to come up with a name. But yeah, it took forever to come up with my business name, which again, you have to kind of shop it around, make sure it doesn't have any weird connotations and it's not already taken or whatever. Then you can file your LLC. So I did use an attorney to make sure that my operating agreement and LLC were all filed correctly and things like that, just because I'm a very independent person, but I don't want to screw it up. It was really important to me to get those early steps right. And then just make sure that everything was in place to provide the service that I wanted to. So there's a lot of work, to develop the process, the forms, all kinds of other stuff that I would need to actually do what I wanted to do for people, which is help them in basically really difficult life circumstances. What would they need to feel like they could trust me and that they knew what they were getting?
Perfect. Yeah. And I'll answer it a little bit and then we'll move on to another subject. For me personally, when you have so many people asking you for advice and you have you telling them and you taking time out, it's time to get to charge you. So yeah, I'm along the lines of Yvette as well, because while I love helping people, I love having a sense of community and everything, but at some point you're gonna have to be like, yeah, let me actually see what I can do and put this to actually some work to actually make some dollars for it. So that's from a personal standpoint. From a professional standpoint, I just felt like I was losing my value, or people just not seeing value in me, right? I felt like I should have been promoted a long time ago. When I was in a certain position, I wasn't getting paid like I should. And while I loved working where I was there for 17 years. Still, it was like, I just felt lost. And at that point, I'm like, let me actually start seeing what I can do for myself. I have the business sense, I have the strategy sense, I'm very organized and I'm very good with people. I have a great smile. So why can't I just do this on my own? So I started a few years ago, my entrepreneur journey. And just like Devin, I'm like, going and turning it started off as a hobby, probably for the most part. But then actually when people actually started getting referrals and things like that, let me turn this actually into a true business plan. And then we moved on. So yeah, you just have to have due diligence and a step-by-step plan. And if you feel like you don't have that push, then you can hire people like me that will help you with that push along and help create that business plan for you. All right, so we are going to move on to our next question. Kind of switch.
I just want to champion that thing you said.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because you made an excellent point. I just don't want to reach past it. If you don't know, hire somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There are resources out there for you to learn, but don't just go out there and run and do something haphazardly. Professionals like Rokia exist for a reason, to offer those those consultative services. We hired many consultants at first starting off, and we have several mentors who's helped us get to the point we're at now. It's not just something we've done ourselves. So that's a great point there. I just want to make sure that
Thank you. Thank you, Devin. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. We want to make sure, as you guys heard in my bio, that I am pro diversity and inclusion, right? I want to make sure that we all provide a D&I aspect to anyone we service. So I have a question. Actually, I want Jasmine, if you can answer first for me, and then Yvette, if you can kind of spin after her. How do you think with your business, you can create an inclusive environment for anyone and everyone?
So are you asking about the people that I serve or hiring employees or both?
Let's start off with the people that you serve.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess it's just another kind of layer on top of what I just mentioned, which is all of the people that I have been talking to. I continue to talk to lots of different people about my business, about my service, and about how I'm marketing and positioning myself. And the reason why I intentionally seek out people that are different than me is because I want to make sure that I'm considering different cultures, different religions. Religion especially is a big part of the space after someone has passed, and a lot of times in divorce too. So, it's really important to me to be inclusive and to make sure that I am serving people the way that they want to work with me, and not just kind of relying on my own personal experience and assuming that everyone else is going to want what I want. That's how I started. There's a lot of validity and personal experience, but it's really a richer experience for me, and it benefits more people in the end if you take that time and be intentional about creating that diverse and inclusive space where everyone feels comfortable.
Well, I totally agree. I think for me, especially in my background with social work, I'm a very ethical person, first of all. Um, and then being a Black woman, I also have to take into account that I've been in many places and organizations where I was the only minority. And then I work with people of all races and underserved populations, religion. And when I get in front of them to work with them, I treat them with the utmost respect. And I have learned to put my personal biases behind me because I'm a help agent. But I also know on the flip side, being a help agent with the education I have and so forth, that I always had to prove myself constantly, my position, where I am, my education, to those at sometimes who quite question how are you in a position, not based on ability, but maybe based on what they see in front of them. So the issue of inclusion, I'm all for it. It's needed, but also I'm going to be a realist and say that because there's, Black and brown people and underserved populations, you know, I want to cater so much more to them because I understand how, especially where we are in today's time, that, with everything coming at you from every direction, you at times feel not so empowered, you feel like you're optionless. So I'm all open for inclusion, anybody, wherever, all walks in life. But again, will I be wrong to say that, I have a special place for helping people who look like me? No, because I know it's needed.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So good. I'm glad you said that. Um, Devin, I'm going to ask you this. As a Black business owner, how has business been during the pandemic for you?
I would say, if I could describe it in one word, I would say pivot. When we first, at the beginning of the pandemic, we were lined up to, we were talking to a lot of different retailers. We were going to get our products in several different stores locally, as well as, started talking to national retail chains as well. Started to get some traction. And then as soon as the pandemic hit and went cold, everybody kind of shut down. Everyone went into emergency mode. We closed our business for about 2 weeks as well, just to make sure that we actually had a pandemic ready plan. We understood how this is going to impact us. So, we even shut down our e-commerce site for sales to get ourselves right. We had to learn to pivot. A small business, I mentioned before, we haven't raised any outside capital. This is, we've done this all on our own. And we need to make sure that we understood where our place was and everything and how we could carve out, success in the midst of darkness. I think, honestly, with a lot of the social justice initiatives that took place during the summertime, we saw a significant boost in our exposure. A lot of people took notice to our brand, and honestly, just the way that we've been running our business and delivering on our customer service, that word of mouth is amazing because there have been people who reached out to our brands that were just customers and they became advocates for us. We did a nationally syndicated radio show, and the reason why we got on that show, we were noticed, was because one of our customers called in and talked to the host and told them about us. And that host ended up reaching out to us like an hour later. Next thing I know, I was on their show the next day. So that is an incredible blessing. But as a Black business owner, we were always conscious of where we are in this marketplace, and in the food industry particularly, there is very little of us on a large scale. There's practically no representation of minority-owned businesses outside of the Big Ten. And there's about 10 companies that pretty much run all grocery chains. Their products are everywhere. And if they haven't bought somebody out, then they box them out from getting on any shelves. So when competing in a business like that is highly competitive, and you're such a marginalized group within that, being very honest with who we are, understanding who our target demographic is, being able to speak to our community has really been where we've been most successful, because we know who we're doing it for, we know why we're doing it, and that resonates well with our customers. So yeah, we are unapologetically a Black-owned business, and we're also a woman-owned business because
yes, your wife.
And let me say something, and that right there has also been, the way that she's been able to kind of look into, okay, what's the next thing to innovate? You know, when we couldn't get in the stores and, you know, we weren't getting called back, she said, all right, well, we're just going to shift and we're going to do everything online. So we started doing cooking demonstrations. And that first week, while we shut down, we started building our home studio and we started doing our own cooking show. You know,
Right.
she started working on, you know, doing a cookbook, you know, so we weren't just sitting and twirling our thumbs waiting for people to start, you know, calling us. We actively got out there, we started working, we started grinding, and we found different ways, you know, different avenues where we could still get our brand out there.
Perfect. All right, we have a couple more questions from the audience and then we're going to move on because we want to make sure that we end on time. I have one question that actually came via Instagram, so I want to make sure I put this out here. Anybody can answer. How are you or did you support yourself financially when you left corporate America to start your own business?
Oh, can I answer that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I had an unexpected fall and I've been out of work now for a year and a half. And so financially, I'm going to tell you, this was the best lesson I ever learned. I was able from my past to save, no matter what that emergency savings fund people talk about. You know, the sad statistics even state that many of us are, of course, one paycheck away from being homeless. I was just fortunate to live off my savings, and by the grace of God, I've been doing so. So it's getting kind of dire now. It's been a year and a half, and I've been fortunate to have support from family and friends. But ultimately, for the first year, I lived off my savings. So I would say to anyone, no matter how much money you receive, even that stimulus check that's coming in, I know times are hard, people are on budgets, but you have to put something aside, you know, because we never know what's going to happen in our lives personally to just rock our foundation. So I would say, you know, even with starting my business, I'm really an advocate in investing in myself. So I'm going to make it happen regardless. And I believe true entrepreneurship, that's what we do. We figure out how to make it happen no matter what. But my message to everyone is to stop spending unnecessarily and save.
That's a great message. And although we hear it all the time, we need to hear it 5 more times, 10 more times, because sometimes we don't listen. All right, so we're coming close to the end. And I want each of you to take 30 seconds, right, to just answer this for me, and then we'll move on. All right, so finish this and tell me why. Tell us why. A great entrepreneur and or professional must be able to blank and why. Jasmine, I'll let you start off, and then I'll say it again. A great entrepreneur and or professional must be able to blank and why. You can give a skill, you can do whatever, you can say whatever. 30 seconds.
Oh man, okay. A great entrepreneur must be able to stay organized. Have to do it. And I have a couple more seconds, so I'll just say it's because there's so much stuff you have to keep track of, and it's really, really important to get your systems in place early, set you up for success later.
Thank you. Yvette?
I would say a great entrepreneur, you have to be resilient. You know, just because you have your business started doesn't mean you'll have the outcomes right away that you want. You'll probably have more disappointments and even losses. I mean, look at the greatest millionaires in our country, you know, Disney. How many times did they went bankrupt? How many times they were told no? How many times doors closed in their faces? So you have to have a spirit of resiliency where you're never going to give up no matter what, if that's your passion and your purpose.
Great answer.
Thank you.
I wish I had said that.
Devin?
Oh, that one. Okay. Let me reevaluate what I was about to say. I would say, honestly, a great entrepreneur has to be willing to sacrifice. You know, for me, I'm fortunate to be in a lot of networks and I get a chance to communicate with a lot of entrepreneurs, and we all have the same story. We get no sleep. You know, we don't take as many vacations as, you know, we ought to, or, you know, our friends do who work in corporate America anymore, because they're more concerned with just being able to get up, work their 9 to 5 and collect their pension and get their bonus at the end of the, you know, at the retirement, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that life. But if you're really interested, you know, if your desire is really to be an entrepreneur, run your own business, you know, all entrepreneurs, you have to be willing to give up something, whether it's your sleep, whether it's your time. You can't go out with the guys all the time. sorry, you know, that's not going to happen when you're building a business, you're building something. It's just like being a parent. You know, you have to invest in your business if you want to see it grow, you know, just like you would your children, you know. And that means that disposable income those first couple of years, my gosh, it was gone. We're doing all right now, but we knew early on what we were giving up to get to where we're at now. And we still got, you know, high levels to climb. And we're willing to put the work in because we know what's going to come out of it at the end of the day. And you don't always have that guarantee, but you got to be willing to put yourself out there if you truly want to be successful.
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you so much, panelists. I have loved this. I have learned a lot as well. I really appreciate your time and effort that you guys put in there. You guys have given great advice. I've been seeing these chats come in. Everybody is just appreciative. Thank you so much for it. So now, Royals, we are coming to the end. If you can just keep on for a few more minutes with us. If you have your phone, if you're not on Zoom with your phone, if you could do me one favor, hover over the QR code there. Please complete this brief survey while we are waiting here because I want to know, you know, I want to do this again, right? We want to do this again. So please, can you provide some feedback real quick for us? Hover over there and just do that for us while we're waiting. If anybody can, just maybe one or two of you maybe come off mute and actually kind of tell verbally how this was, just kind of take 30 seconds to say how you enjoyed this. What did you learn from today? And what will you take away for us, please?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Dee. This was awesome.
Thank you.
I am not a small business owner. However, I learned a lot. I learned more about the services that you offer, MsQueenRo. I work in social services, so I definitely related to your story, Miss Bailey. I was inspired by all of you all. Miss Hathaway, I had cancer, so definitely touched by the services you provide to the community. Something that I took away was what Devin was saying with a business, you know, like I hustle, I'll make anything happen. I'll make it happen for my family. But, you know, I had the question about at what point did you think your hobby was profitable? And when he mentioned, can it stand on its own? Can you sell it to 100 people? That resonated with me because there are lots of things that I like to do, but how can I make this profitable? So that's one thing that I did take away from this. So thank you for having this forum.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do we have one more person just to take a few seconds to tell us how you like this forum and what did you learn?
Hey y'all, so this is Jesse. Definitely love the forum. I think it's definitely needed and valued. And then I also want to just say thank you guys for doing that and stepping out there and kind of, you know, telling your truth and telling your stories and kind of how everything transpired. But for me, where I had a nonprofit in 2017 is definitely motivation to be like, let me pull this back out and look at it again and, you know, start, you know, thinking some things and getting my contingency plan together because you never know. So definitely motivating for me. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we have time for one more if anyone wants to speak.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry.
No worries. You can go ahead.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Bernicia, and I love the forum. I can just give kudos all day to Queen Ro. I mean, she is one that I actually took that opportunity of leaping out on faith to hire her as my business mentor, and she has helped me so much. The information you guys provide today, I thank you. And for my own personal business journey, I'm just like you, Miss Yvette. I need to follow my passion and stop just sleeping on it. So guys, you gave some excellent advice, and I'm definitely going to be incorporated in my own life. But thank you so much for this. This was truly amazing.
Thank you. Was there someone else that wanted to speak real quick?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, I thought I turned my camera on. But anyways, this is Tatiana, Colorado. And I was just wanting to say that I thoroughly enjoyed this speaking engagement you guys put together. And most importantly, just have had the pleasure to work with a couple of you. It's just really great you hear people talking about, you know, taking that leap of faith, quote unquote, as we like to say, but it's a lot different whenever you know someone who has done it and is thriving. So I just want to say I'm really proud of you guys, and I'm looking forward to the day where I can do the same. I can take that leap. I think it's getting closer and closer. And Ro, I do brand consulting, but you know how therapists also have therapists, and Ro is literally your consultant's favorite consultant. So I definitely appreciate you putting this together, and I definitely enjoyed it and learned a lot. So thank you. Thank everybody.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. The feedback is great. You know, I really appreciate it. And you know, sometimes, you know, we need that those encouraging words to keep us going, because it's hard out here in these streets, right? So to actually hear from all of you, we really appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. You know, thank you all of you for joining today. I really appreciate all of you. I saw that we had, you know, close to like 40 something people online. So I really appreciate that. We will host this again, you know, just be on the lookout. We'll do this again in another month. And if you haven't already, please join our Royal community. You'll get exclusive content. So all you have to do, you can hover over the QR code, or again, go to my website and you can join that way. But again, I want to say thank you to the Royal panelists. All of you were excellent. And you guys just have a great day, and God bless.